Okay, thanks for joining today, everybody. This is our 2025 Fellowship Program information session. It's the second information session we're hosting. We're going to have a smaller group today, which is kind of fun. I always like engaging with small groups in things like this. I find it can create a nice intimate experience. My name is Alex. I work between programs and operations on the In Rhythm team, and I'm based in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I'm joined by a couple of other team members here today, Natalie and Trey, who you'll get to hear from. And I thought we could start by just each of us as a team member sharing something that we're excited about and wanted to share about the fellowship program before we get into the whole kind of program that we have for today. And so maybe I'll start. So one thing that this is my fourth year being involved in the fellowship program. Or coming into the fourth year. And I just find it's really inspiring to spend a whole year with people, really diving into operating our organizations and designing our systems in a different way that's aligned with life. And I've just learned so much from fellows over the years. We really see ourselves as fellow sojourners alongside our fellows, implementing and doing a new way of organizing. So that's one thing that really excites me. And I'm coming in with that kind of energy today. Maybe Trey, let's hear from you. Feel free to introduce yourself and just one thing you're excited about the program.
Yeah, Trey Cates, one of the directors here at In Rhythm. Probably the thing that excites me the most is things emerging that none of us could have expected. Relationships, connections. There's people from all over the world. Lots of incredible things like that that I actually get a big smile from being able to see and experience that as part of this process. And just to know that those connections end up being lifelong connections, even though we don't have a lifelong program yet. Hopefully in the future, it shows itself in each year.
Awesome. Thanks, Trey. How about Natalie?
I was hoping you'd pick me next because I wanted to speak to what Trey just said. So I actually was an In Rhythm Fellow in 2022, and it is true that this program is really all about connection and all about community. And I did make connections in the fellowship that I still carry with me now, both within In Rhythm and outside of it, or alongside of it, I guess, rather. I'm really excited about the fellowship just in general. I think it's an incredible program, but and I mean, I'm biased. I was in it, but I also, for me, the biggest thing about the fellowship is community, and it is the opportunity to engage with a global community, and to really have incredible conversations and to be supported in sort of new ways to think about how we work together and all the work that we're individually doing in the world, and sort of what do we bring to community that we can all sort of share. And I think that's something that I'm always excited about with regard to the fellowship, is just the exchange of ideas and information across a really beautiful global community.
Thanks, Natalie. I'll just give a shout out to Donna. I won't put you on the spot, Donna. Donna also recently joined the team and it would be new to the fellowship and is joining probably to learn about it. But I just wanted to mention that Donna, who's here on the call, is also on the team, and shout out to her. Thanks for being here, Donna. Awesome. So that's our kickoff, and just wanted to ground us before we get into the program for today and the purpose of the program. And I think Trey and Natalie and I kind of alluded to this, but really the purpose of the fellowship program is to curate a diverse community of leading change makers dedicated to bringing a living systems approach to their organization. So maybe just hold that in your mind today. You've probably all read this on the website, but I just wanted to kind of presence that as we go through everything today. The whole program is really rooted in this purpose. And so today, a little bit of an overview. We have 60 minutes together in total if we need it. So we've done our welcome. We're going to do a brief introduction to our approach. We'll give you an overview of the program, the application process, and then we should have plenty of time for Q&A. Any questions you all have or any reflections you have, we would love to hear them. And I will next invite Trey to tell us a little bit about what is With Life. What's the With Life approach?
Yeah, thanks, Alan. So the With Life moniker and our intention is to bring attention to what we believe our system should be designed around. So the With Life approach is really a process and a structure that holds the patterns of living systems at its foundation for how we design organizations, communities, governments, economies. And with life at the center of this, we believe it creates healthy, resilient, both organizations or systems. And that's really the essence of why we ground ourselves in what we call the With Life approach. I think the approach itself within our organization is really seen in two ways. One, we believe that it's our responsibility and deeply a part of our purpose to build and support the building of capacity within the system. So within your organization, within your communities, within the systems that you're a part of, how do we support you to be able to bring more life into those systems? And we are deeply committed to demonstrating that work in ways that either we are responsible in operating those organizations or systems or partnering with others that are. So we have a landscape of what we call local ecosystems where we're doing this work to both demonstrate the efficacy of this approach and to continue to inform what should evolve and change about this approach to be able to make it a viable alternative to what we see as a mechanistic or an industrialized system. And this just gives you a little view into the amount of people we're currently influencing or impacting. Over 25, almost 2,500 people in 81 countries are taking our courses and our platforms, part of our platforms to build capacity. We've done consulting projects in 15 countries, and we are now building these local ecosystems where we're deep partnerships and operating businesses and organizations, both for-profit and not-for-profit, in ways to demonstrate the approach in specific places around the U.S. and primarily Africa.
Awesome. Thanks, Trey. We hope that kind of just gives you a bit of an overview of the big picture of what we're doing with Life and what you'd be stepping into as a part of this fellowship. Next, we wanted to share a little bit about our capacity building platform and what you would have access to as a part of the fellowship. Natalie, would you like to give an overview of this?
Yeah, I'm happy to. So as part of the fellowship, you actually have access to almost all of our programs across our global platform. So everything that you see in light green on this slide, fellows have unrestricted access to. We obviously have online courses and programs that are self-directed asynchronous programs, like an on-demand online courses. We also have live programs where we meet together online, and there's all types of shapes and forms that those take. One of them in particular is our regenerative design lab, where you're going to be able to work with kind of envisioning what does it look like to shift from a mechanistic industrial design for organizations or aspects of your organization into a living systems based design. And then you have opportunities to practice your design skills to figure out how might I shift the design of any particular element of my organization into one that aligns with the way life works. Then we also have a leadership program that's similar where we meet online and have opportunities to talk about how do we design, manage, and monitor organizations with life. What does living systems-based approach to communication or information exchange, meetings, decision-making, how do we organize around that, and how do we lead through that as regenerative leaders? We also have a whole other sort of area around regenerative economics. So we invite global thought leaders from all around the world to come and speak with us and share their stories through Discovery Dialogues with John Fullerton. We have courses on regenerative economics, both on demand and sort of the live cohort-based courses. Everything from really foundational, what does it even look like, or what do we even mean when we're talking about shifting from our current economic models to a regenerative economics. And then we also really dive a little bit deeper into examining money and banking and finance and investment from a regenerative lens. We're also part of a large community that Trey spoke about just a minute ago, where we share events and information and ideas and share what we're working on. We have a podcast. There are community-driven events, live events, online events. So it's really this broad, thriving community of people, and these programs kind of roll at different times throughout the year. So as a fellow, you can just sort of hop in and experience the on-demand content. You can also hop in as we rotate through design labs and leadership programs and economics courses, and then you can always engage in the community that we have as well.
Awesome. Thanks, Natalie. Yeah, so everything in green, like Natalie said, is something that you'll have access to as a part of the fellowship program. Great. So this kind of first part was just really to give you an overview of what it is that we're doing, what you would be stepping into, and now we really wanted to ground ourselves in the approach that is really foundational to the fellowship program that will be learning, building our capacity in together throughout the year through all of the programs that we offer throughout the fellowship. So we recognize that the dominant model for organizations today is the machine. You just need to do a quick Google search and you'll find all kinds of images that come up from Inc. magazine and other leading publications on how to run your company like a well-oiled machine. And even whole economies are referenced as machines. Georgia's economic engine and leadership as well, framework for building your cross-sector leadership practice, cogs in a machine. So all you need to do is Google and you'll see how prevalent this metaphor really is. It really shows up in all of our educational materials, all of our tons of articles about how to organize your business. And metaphors are really powerful indicators of the way that we're thinking. Idioms and metaphors are really powerful indicators of the mindsets behind the way that we're thinking. And I don't know if any of you have used one of these sayings recently, working like a well-oiled machine, or I don't have bandwidth for that. We've got to dial that in or move the needle, or we need to hit the reset button. I'm sure you can think of many others. Imagine how this is influencing how we actually design, manage, and monitor our organizations. It really lends itself to a focus on productivity, efficiency, driving outcomes, pushing things forward. And I think we've all had different experiences throughout our career, likely where we've been in organizations that feel this way. And so what are the consequences of leading organizations as machines? It's really continuing. It has perpetuated and has continued to contribute to many complex issues that we face today. When we put the primary focus on productivity, efficiency, predictable outcomes like we do in machines, right? When we're creating cars, we really want productivity, efficiency, and predictable outcomes. I don't want to put a car through a production process and not actually get a car out of it, right? We want productivity and efficiency and predictable outcomes when we're manufacturing objects, for example. But when we focus on this approach on organizations, what we're really doing is compromising the well-being and the health of people, right? And the paradox is that disregarding the health and well-being of people actually compromises productivity, efficiency, and predictable outcomes. And it can have a negative impact on those things. So because people are considered parts of a machine, right? We're commodities that can just be replaced at any time. And this is evident through a bunch of different statistics that I'll point to. First of all, employee engagement. Only 23% of people self-report thriving at work. 59% of people are not engaged, or quiet quitting is how it's known now, and 18% are loud quitting, really actively disengaged. And this is estimated to cost the global economy $8.8 trillion in lost productivity per year. which is about 9% of global GDP. Wow, what a lost opportunity, right? The way we're designing and managing our organizations is leading to incredible disengagement. And it's also having a horrible impact on the planet when the way that we've designed our systems broadly is resulting in a massive decline in biodiversity, 58% decline between 1970 and 2012 alone. From an equality perspective, billionaires have greater net worth than entire GDPs of entire countries, right? Of low-income countries. And then from an equity perspective, in particular, how race predicts how well you will do with regards to access to, education, housing, jobs, arts, culture. So something about the way that we're choosing to design our systems just isn't working. But we do recognize and we teach the history of the dominance of the mechanistic metaphor really deeply in our courses. But we always recognize that this view of reality, this way of designing and managing our organizations, is in real deep contrast to many philosophical wisdom and spiritual traditions, right? This way of thinking wasn't always the dominant way of thinking. In fact, it's, like I said, in deep contrast to many other views, such as Buddhism or paganism or many indigenous communities that we've encountered through our work and had the opportunity to work with in the Americas, Australia, South Africa, New Zealand, and others. So we recognize that we need a new design. If this is a design issue, the good news is that we can choose to design a different way. And what if organizations and people aren't machines? What if we could choose a new metaphor to design to? So this whole fellowship program is rooted in looking to life as a model to design to, right? It's kind of this, it almost feels like a way of coming back, because if you think about our human bodies, right, they're living, and we kind of just recognize that our bodies aren't machines. It's not linear. And why not view our organizations also as living, because we are made up of other living beings. And so we look to life as a model because living systems demonstrate really unique capabilities of resilience, dynamic adaptation, and emergent outcomes. And we go into the living system science in a whole lot more detail in the fellowship program through many of the courses you'll have access to. So for those of you who really nerd out,
oh no, I know it'll be fun.
I'm gonna just mute. Sorry. There we go. Someone unmuted by accident. All good. So we go into the science in a whole lot more detail in the program. And for those of you who nerd out on theory, we do offer a lot of that. We do offer a lot of really practical operational courses as well. But for those of you who are really interested in the deep living system science, there's a whole lot to unpack through our courses and program. So what we've done using life as a model is we've created the With Life approach, which is the underpinning of all of the courses and programs that we offer. And I'll share with you a little brief sneak preview of some of the frameworks that you'll learn throughout the program. And so first, we really start by contrasting a living systems design versus a machine design. And these are just two different ways of designing, managing, and operating in order to deliver outcomes, right? And the mechanistic design, the machine design, we see really seeks to engineer best practices. And a best practice is something that is really been accepted as a generally the way to do something, right? Like, there's best practices around all kinds of things, from running meetings to, right, how to manufacture a car, which we talked about earlier. And it's been a standardized way of doing things, which is great if you have something that you really want to engineer into the same thing every time, right? Like a car. But because what that does is it enforces prescriptive structures, right? There's not really room to get creative and come up with creative solutions. We just do the same thing every time because that's just the way it's done, because it delivers that predictable outcome. But ultimately, the health of machines really degenerates over time, right? From a living systems perspective, we recognize that living systems inform a set of patterns which facilitate the use of flexible frameworks, which is the patterns and frameworks are really foundational to this fellowship program. And the health of living systems regenerates over time. Just that's inherently the way that they operate. Regeneration is a characteristic of living systems. It's an outcome of living systems that is unique to living systems. And machine design requires more energy, which requires more external inputs. Again, think of the car example. You're putting fuel, you're putting oil into that in order to keep it running. And from a living system standpoint, requires less energy and self-maintains. And moving to designing and managing our organizations from a mechanistic standpoint, which really is degenerating the health of our organizations over time, into a more living approach requires substantial shifts in perspectives and operations, right? Like, it's not that one of these approaches is good or bad. I definitely want to use the machine design approach to manufacture my car, to put together my IKEA furniture. But that approach, it just is not working in our organizations, as we've talked about. What we really want to do is shift into a more living approach. And that's what the fellowship program is all about. It's helping you shift your mindset, shift your perspectives, and actually how you practically operate. We give you tools, frameworks, patterns, and principles to really enable you to operationalize that. So what do we mean by living systems patterns? We go into a lot of detail about this again in some of our fundamentals courses and our design lab. We teach you how to work with these, but we've recognized 3 patterns that are inherent to all living systems, drawing from several different systemic understandings of life and living systems: patterns of holism, patterns of organization, and patterns of relationship. Not going to go into too much detail into these. We go into a ton of detail in the program. And then in addition, when we reference flexible frameworks in the machine versus living systems design slide, we are talking about the living systems framework for organizations. And this framework is very much foundational. We'll teach you how to work with this. We'll lead you through design processes to apply this to your organization or your community or whatever it is you want to be working on in the fellowship program, and enable you to really utilize this, operate it, so that you could bring more life to what it is you're doing. All right, that was just a really brief overview of our approach and what's foundational to the fellowship program. Now we'll share a little bit more detail about the program itself. The program is in its 4th year, and there's over 100 graduates or alumni, which is absolutely incredible. Really amazing humans from all over the world bringing this approach to life across all sectors, right? We've had people come through the program from architecture to manufacturing to the food system to community organizing. Really, we embrace a wide variety of sectors in this program and try and encourage that cross-pollination and diversity. Again, the purpose of the program: curating a diverse community of leading change makers dedicated to bringing a living systems approach to their organization. Thinking of the term organization super broadly as well. It could mean a business, could mean a nonprofit, it could mean a community, it could mean just a project or a family. There's all kinds of ways that we come together to do work that needs to be reimagined. In terms of a little bit more about the details of the program, Natalie did share a little bit about some of the courses and workshops that you'll have access to, right? We spent time on that at the beginning. As a part of your fellowship journey, you get to curate your own experience. You get to choose which courses you do of In Rhythm, Capital Institute, and With Life. You get to kind of customize that journey for yourself throughout the year. We have people who do design lab and leadership program, and they jump into the, economics and finance courses of Capital Institute. All kinds of ways you can really design your year in a way that suits your unique context, and we help guide you to do that. We have monthly fellowship gatherings once a month, of course, monthly, once a month, over the course of the year to connect and exchange with other fellows. These calls are really required as a part of the program. It is the way that fellows connect with one another. I wish Rachel was here today. She will be, Rachel and Ryan from our team were not able to join us, but they will be really leading those monthly calls and working with you all very closely throughout the course of the year to be able to support you on your journey. Curated community and network building, it really integral to the program is the connections that you'll make with other fellows and other people that you meet both from our team and our community throughout the course of the year. Our commitment to you all is to support you. We spend a lot of time with fellows outside of monthly calls, outside of programs, helping you with whatever it is you're struggling with in bringing this approach to life. Our team is available to you. We really view you all as an extension of our own team. And yeah, like I said, you really get to create your journey. This slide is just kind of pointing to some different folks who have found meaning in the program, not exclusive to these different personas. These are available on our website if you want to take a look, if you're like, oh, is this for me? But yeah, just keep in mind, this is definitely not a program exclusively designed for these folks. We've just found these personas find a lot of meaning in the program. So whether you're someone really an entrepreneur looking to embed regenerative principles into your organization, or maybe you work in operations or HR. We've had a lot of operations folks come through our programs or through the fellowship program and find a lot of meaning in using this as a way to bring this to their team, or community leaders wanting to design their community differently, maybe program or project managers, or even change agents, people who view themselves as agents of change, and systems thinkers who want to bring a regenerative approach to life in whatever it is they're building. So hopefully this inspires something that you're able to relate to, but again, not exclusive to these groups. And if you're curious about whether or not this is for you, I encourage you to reach out. We were hoping today that we would be able to hear from one of our fellows, but I think she is on a train and wasn't able to connect. So if anyone does want to hear from 2024 fellows, I'd be happy to connect you with someone after our session today. Okay, additional details. This is the practical stuff. So dates, the fellowship program it's a 12-month program that runs throughout the course of the year. So we begin in January. The commitment that we ask fellows to make is really to participate in those monthly calls. Usually we do curate that based on the group that ends up being selected, but usually it takes place in the morning Eastern time, because we find that does accommodate most time zones, but it'll depend on the group that we choose. We ask that fellows grow their capacity in the With Life approach through our courses and programs, and then self-organizing with other fellows. We've really found the program is most meaningful to folks who get together outside of calls, outside of workshops. We've had fellows decide to create organizations together. We've had fellows join our team, like Natalie shared. There's all kinds of different things that can emerge when you kind of just follow the energy and get together about things that you're passionate about. We do have a program fee, but it's offered on a sliding scale. The tiers are listed here. If none of those tiers fit your needs, we do have scholarships available. So we just ask that you're welcome to apply, and then shoot us an email being like, hey, this doesn't quite fit my context. Here's what does. And really the intention of the fellowship program is to bring our programs to our fellows at an affordable price. And offer some flexibility with that, recognizing there's a lot of unique contexts, and we're in a challenging time. So some important application details. Applications close this Friday. If anyone needs an extension and needs a little bit more time, we're happy to be flexible on that. So please reach out if you do. We'll let you know by December 4th if you've been accepted into the program. We do everything that we can to support those who apply, even if they may not be the best fit for the program. And enrollment doors close on the 15th of December. We really like to encourage everybody to kind of be in the program before the holidays close, so that in the new year we can kick things off. And then our orientation will begin in January of next year. You can apply, find more details at inrhythm.co/fellowship, and just encourage you to, if you have any questions, we'll have time for Q&A right now after this, but if you would rather just reach out to us, team@inrhythm.co, you're more than welcome to reach out directly as well. All right, we've thrown a lot at you. I think I'll pause and stop talking now and invite just any questions anybody has, questions, reflections, anything you would like to know. We have lots of time. You don't need to use it all, but just an invitation. You're welcome to either raise your hand or drop a question in the chat. Any questions?
Hey, Alex, can you hear me?
Hey, Tyler. Yeah, jump in.
I had a quick question. So my mind's already going to having to persuade the rest of our team of these principles if I take the courses and fellowships, and we're a very collaborative group. And so what comes to mind is just inviting them all to the fellowship. But do people ever do it as a team, or is it normally one person takes it back to the team?
Thanks, Tyler. That's a great question. Maybe I'll quickly respond. The fellowship is really our program designed for individuals. We have whole programs designed for teams to go through this together. Happy to share more about that. Maybe, I don't know if, maybe to get more voices in the room, Trey, I don't know if you want to share a little bit more about the Cultivator program, which is really designed for teams, because I totally hear that. And we do have people all the time being like, I really want my whole team to go through this. I don't know if Trey, you want to take that one?
Yeah, so thanks, Tyler. Actually, all of what you just heard, but for a group of 3 to 5 people, or even up to 10 people. And if that's something you're interested in, it takes the whole team in consideration through a process, and allows for more flexibility associated with people that are going in and out of experiences, to be able to create that kind of interdependent experience across a small or even large team that have gone through these kinds of programs together. So be happy to discuss more, but yeah, that's versus this is really meant to be for the change maker that then is going to bring something back to their organization or use it themselves in a way that is applicable.
Thanks. That makes sense.
Yeah, no problem. Happy to connect further on that. Michael.
Yeah, hi. My interest is on creating something new, and I'm thinking to start it as a podcast or think tank. I really think money is at the foundation of the problem, because we're sort of compelling growth because of the monetary system. And so I'm really excited. I think there's a lot of new opportunities out there, and I'd love to be kind of a bridge builder to materialize some of the new possibilities, because I think eventually, maybe sooner or later, maybe sooner, the global dominant reserve money, which is the US dollar, I think is going to suffer serious consequences, and I think we need to be prepared for alternatives. So that's kind of the focus of where I'm leaning, and I'm curious if this program seems relevant for that type of idea.
Thank you, Michael. I would say absolutely. We have a lot of folks come through the program who have an idea that they want to bring to life in a different way. And bridge builders, I would say others others who've been through the program definitely characterize themselves at least some of them. So I would say, in short, yes, if you want to bring a living systems approach or regenerative approach to that sector through the work of a podcast or other thought leadership, I absolutely think that's relevant. I don't know if anyone on the team wants to add anything in response to Michael. Sure. Yeah.
Great, thanks.
Does that help? Cool. A lot of opportunity there, I gotta say. Any other questions? Thank you for the great questions so far. I have to say, Lorna, I'm loving your background. I don't know if it's real, but it's really beautiful. I know it's real somewhere.
Yeah, it's real somewhere. I think it might be Norway, but
Is it? Not
yeah.
Norway.
Yeah, but I'm just sitting in front of my sofa, so no, I mean, I have an amazing, I can see Mont Blanc out of my window, so but then you wouldn't, the light would be weird, so I'm just sitting here. But I'm glad you like it.
It's aesthetically pleasing. Great. Any other questions from folks? Or reflections?
I think you spoke to this, Alex, but once you're in this community, you have ongoing access to the community.
Yes, absolutely. Actually, the community is available to anyone right now. So if you're the With Life community, the fellowship is a curated cohort every year. And once you're in your cohort, we just keep that open. So we do offer pretty intense support over the course of the year. And then after that, fellows are invited to continue to engage in more of a self-organized way, although we do engage our alumni in various ways. But yes, absolutely.
Well, one thing I do, not sure to completely emphasize is, as a part of this curated process, everyone gets access to all of the different resources across the organization, not just courses, but people. So it's not uncommon for, fellows to reach out to me and say, can I schedule a couple of one-on-ones just to be able to spend time talking to you about why did you found this organization in the first place? What is it that you were thinking about? All that kind of stuff. So between myself and others, there's just access to people that allow that are really here to support you in your purpose and what is coming up for you. So I just want to share that as a part of the benefit.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a number of our team members who are passionate about kind of different things, and the program leads really do their best to kind of connect you with team members too. And of course, you're welcome to reach out directly. But I know, for instance, Ryan on our team, who'll be one of the co-leads of this cohort, he loves organizational structures. Like, oh, we're having like this really big challenge at our company. Like, what would you do in this? And he really has spent a lot of time with people on that. Or Jeff on our team is super embedded in bringing the science into the organization. And folks have spent a lot of time with Jeff being like, well, what do these patterns really mean? Like, where on earth did they come from? I don't get it. So there's all kinds of ways that our team loves to support fellows, and that's part of our commitment of you really embarking on the year-long journey. And we hope it's the start of a longer-term relationship too. Anything else? All right. Well, if there's nothing else, we will release you all for these additional 20 minutes and just invite you. Thank you, Natalie. Join the With Life community. I encourage you to apply to the program. Again, the deadline is this Friday, but if you need a little more time, happy to extend that. Just shoot us an email. And if you have any other questions about how this applies to you or anything you need clarified, just reach out to our email address at team@inrhythm.co. Would love to happy to hop on a quick call or just exchange by email, really whatever you need. Thank you for your time. Really appreciate you all being here today and look forward to hopefully seeing your applications.
Thanks,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Have a great day.
Bye.